Hey, y'all, did Nikki and John do it for all the ratings? And can Brie really have it all? Season 3, Episode 1, Total Bellas, up next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Do I know this song?
This is how we come back?
None of us know this song, but there's a reason for this song.
Please let me
I had
know.
to do some deep research, but John Cena might really appreciate this song.
Oh,
But I have some dance moves ready, though.
I know, I know. I want to do the dancing stuff, but there's a reason for this, and it's Total Bellas, and it's not like Total Divas. I would have went like different way.
That's true.
So there's a reason. None of us know this song. I had to do some deep diving, but I'm gonna introduce the co-host first, and then I'll explain to everybody what the hell's going on.
Right.
All right. So we have the stylist to the stars.
Hey. Y'all know who I am, Monique Loveless.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Anissa. I'm just talking.
I was like, I know my title.
No one's going to take that from you.
I know.
So Monique Loveless is in with us, and the one who knows everything about wrestling, the wrestling encyclopedia, Anissa Barr.
Yes, and Dean Ambrose, baby sister, in my head.
Whoa.
All right.
Understand.
Lots of questions.
And then just Roger.
Just Roger.
Just Roger.
Beef Supreme. You're welcome to throw in whatever names you'd like.
Roger
Just
It's all
that.
there. Just Roger.
All right, so the reason behind this song is that after it was announced that John and Nikki broke up, maybe a week after they did the whole interview, he's like, I want her back. I'm going to do anything to get her back. And she's on the red carpet for NBC in New York and said, we'll see how it goes. John Cena, if you follow him on his social media, his Instagram is totally cryptic. He had a picture of the guy with the boombox on his head. That is from a movie called Say Anything, which I had to ask somebody about because I had no idea. I've never seen the movie in my life. But the title song for that movie is this song.
You know, now that they're playing it, this is like the song that they do the boombox with on a lot of movies.
Did I just...
They do.
she-
No,
no,
that is
she
exactly
named
what
one movie.
But she's mentioning other movies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
Maybe it's like totally all the
The shade has started already. We ain't even got in.
This is the building block, and she's just adding on top. Like, you know what? No, this is where it started.
So I'm going to mention his Instagram has always been cryptic.
Well, I
Like-
didn't start following him until, I don't know, maybe right before the break. Something happened. I was like, oh, let me follow him, and it's just total.
It's
Random.
Weird. Yeah, you're not
Random
missing
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
He has potato salads on there.
Yeah,
it's
people's.
weird.
I think
other
that's why I never
people's faces on it.
followed.
Yeah, there's no need to follow, but this one
Sorry.
caught the
But there's
attention.
a reason why he posts certain things, because some of it comes true. Sometimes he did post a picture. I believe it was The Undertaker, and then that match didn't happen. So
that match is terrible.
He does post a lot of things that give you little clues, but not really.
But
You
then
have
where
to
does the
figure it
potato
out.
salad come in?
Maybe he likes potatoes.
Hungry.
You gotta figure it out.
He's like, I'm hungry at the time, and I want
Maybe
this
he
to come
wants to-
true.
Maybe he wants to be like The Rock, do The Rock's diet.
Well, yeah, I have so much to go with that. All right, well, let's get into it. So a lot's happening. And a lot can be we were expecting a lot with all the drama that was happening in Newswire, but we'll get into that. The Total Bella tea. That's what we'll be doing.
Yeah, the
Total
total
Bella
tea.
team.
Total Bella tea. But it starts off, the whole family moves to San Diego. So I think if you guys remember in Total Divas, they Nikki and Brie were living in San Diego, and then she moved to Tampa, and then moved to Arizona, blah, blah, blah. So they all moved to San Diego for the business. And, Brie is there in a much smaller house. But, they're making it work. I mean, it's a decent house. I think.
Yeah, I feel like
It's a
their
good house.
Arizona house wasn't even that big.
No, I think
I think they had a lot of
smallest house was the one
yard.
in Washington. I think that was the smallest house
Okay.
that they had.
No, their smallest house was their condo.
Wait, that a condo?
Yeah, they had an apartment when they first started dating in
Oh.
San Diego.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
well, there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
As a family.
So Brie and Nikki, they have so much. We're back together, y'all.
Yeah.
Brie and Nikki, they have so much. They have
Reunited.
total business women. So they have the wine business. They have the Birdie Bee business. The underwear, all that good stuff. So
There's Bella Radici, which is the wine, and Birdie Bee, which is the
Does that include the lingerie?
Yeah, that is the
All right,
lingerie.
all right.
Like
Did you
the
just feel your
lingerie.
nipple?
No, it's just like the sports bras
Checking.
and thongs and
That Birdie Bee?
So that Birdie, who is Brie's daughter, she's doing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So Brie feels like she's missing out on a lot of the good stuff in Birdie's life as far as watching. She hasn't started walking yet, but the swimming, all this other stuff. How do you guys feel about, Brie thinking she can have it all? Do you think she can actually have it all?
No.
No, that's not true. Hold on, that's not true.
I'm not trying to make it all no, but there's some things that like what Brie did. Brie not really went behind Brian's back, but she did something without Brian, and then Brian was really upset.
Mm-hmm.
But she was saying, "But you were on the road. I was out doing something else."
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he took her to go swimming, I think that's okay. That should be fine. I think I get it. The whole walking, saying the name, that's a big deal. But I think doing stuff on his own, he wants a little bonding time.
I feel like as a woman, she can do it all. It's just the fact that she has to basically prioritize. So, there's certain things that as a career woman you're going to miss out on. But I feel like it was a great idea, even though the mom didn't do it very well. I feel like it was a great idea to film those moments when either one of them are not there, so that they can look back on those and also be a part, feel like you're a part of them at the time.
I'm gonna come in with a disagreement, guys.
Sure.
Already.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know why? Because
You're the guy. I don't think I even want to hear what you have to say. Do we?
I thought it was mean that he didn't have to go do those special moments without Brie. He could have waited a day or two. I do think the mom should get more leeway. She had to carry that baby inside of her. I feel like he'll be okay if he takes the baby to the park or something. You could wait to go to the pool until Brie shows up.
But we don't know how long. Right.
Wait, when he's
Right.
they're both gonna be retired.
Right. You're like. She said they both will be retired. I can't.
So for you guys who are just joining us and you didn't follow us this last season, did we do Total Bellas or Total Divas?
Total
Divas.
Divas.
Apparently Roger and his wife are going to wait until they're 50 to have babies because she's the only one in the world, maybe her and 5 other people who can have babies when they're 50. And so,
And even Naomi, who was our guest, thought he was crazy.
Yeah, so you have to definitely...
Yeah, she agreed.
Naomi did not think I was crazy, just for the record.
No, she definitely did not agree with you.
Yeah, so...
You have to go back and watch that footage because she did not agree.
Oh, man. I misread that one.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but honestly, you guys don't think that's a little bit mean for Brie? I mean, she's a mom.
But Brie did the thing without Brian.
But I don't think it hurts Brian as much as it does Brie.
Well, I mean, it's gonna hurt. So I have a friend. The same thing happened to her. So her husband ended up not losing his job, but he was able to take care of the kids during the day, and he was a track coach in the afternoon, evening. And she lost, or she missed a lot of those important parts. But if she weren't doing what she's doing, then, they wouldn't have the nice house that they have and all this other stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think even though we all think we can have it all, there's going to be sacrifices that we have to make. So for your career, if you think you can have it all, yeah, you could probably work to the top, but you're going to sacrifice your sleep. Therefore, some other things like you just can't, every time you're juggling something's always going to be at the bottom.
But that's my thing. It's not, I get the sacrifice part. He could have waited until she came back.
You feel like that was a big enough moment that he could have waited.
He took the baby swimming. It was adorable.
But she didn't even swim, though.
Well, obviously it's a baby.
I feel like that's something that they can still have family time with. Like, this was her first go around, but they can still hop back in the pool and go do it again.
It's
That's
not
one of
the
those
same.
things.
I mean,
she's not going to see, and he's not going to see her first steps again. Now that's major, but
you can't predict that. He might be. He's still working.
That's the point. You can't predict that. You can't predict taking her to the pool. That's what I mean. He could have waited. I mean, she obviously came back home, right? So I don't know. I thought it was a little bit callous on their part.
Well,
that's different.
Speaking of different, want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life? For those who do, have we got the podcast for you? Oh, some music.
Hey.
Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Fridays on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrities and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, for health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be your big sister for everything that you wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us.
Total Bella.
Who sent you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition. Check it out.
woo.
All right. Nikki and John. What are you looking at me like that for?
No, it's a side view. That's all.
You know what? When we're at work,
basking in the
when you're-
beauty
when we're
that's
at work,
over
he
there.
never looks at me. He just passes
no,
me.
that's not true.
It's
Okay,
so
okay,
true.
well.
It's so true. Never even looks at me. I'm like, damn, son, it's just like you can pretend you don't know
Oh my gosh.
me. They're all minorities in there. Goddamn.
Jesus.
He was basking in the beauty of over
I don't
there.
know. He was like, I don't know. You.
I'm sorry. That was my eye.
New show, who dis?
No.
Nikki and John. So they have a really nice house in San Diego. We're expecting some house rules. But before we get to those house rules, there's the wedding plan. So Nikki and John decided that he really wanted the wedding in his hometown because his family is there. Nikki is co-signing on it. Brie is not really like that. How are you guys feeling about this? You know,
I feel like Brie was right.
Yeah.
Brie was right. She reminds Nikki of what she wants. It's like John comes in and Nikki loves him so much. It's kind of like that woman thing, I guess, sometimes, where you love somebody so much and you're just like, oh, I just want to do for you because I love you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Brie comes in and reminds Nikki of what she really wants.
Right.
And she puts that thought back into her head, which I think is great. Like, I mean, I don't have siblings. I'm the only child.
Oh, that
of course.
speaks. That makes a lot. I
knew
don't
the shade
know
was coming.
why I didn't ask you that, but that makes a lot of sense.
I'm pretty sure
knew
we've
the
had this
shade was coming.
conversation
No,
before.
I don't think we had this conversation.
I think we had.
Because when I called her to work out, she's like, "Oh, I'm sleeping." I'm like, "Who? What? You're supposed to go work out? Like, you still sleeping? Like, really? There's no such thing as an alarm? Okay." But how do you know it's not because of love, but fear? Because she did say that she just didn't want to rock the boat. He already said he was going to marry me, and he didn't want to marry me in the last 5 years.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, what kind of a mentality is
Yes,
that?
Brie even told her, she was like, I say whatever is on my mind to Daniel. And I feel like if you're about to marry somebody, you need to be in that space where y'all are comfortable enough to speak what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
She's scared. She's scared. How is
She
that possible?
is.
She's scared you'll leave her.
But who thinks that way? Like you can't go into a marriage that way. That's terrible.
A lot of people do.
Well,
That divorce
get
rate is
married,
very
yeah.
high because of certain situations like that.
but that's not going to work out. And she keeps bringing up Carrie and Big from Sex and the City. That's exactly
Yeah.
where this is leading to.
Are they still together? Like, were they still together at the end of that?
yeah, they got married.
I know, but
Yeah, but you left her at the altar. He embarrassed her.
No, but the second one they got
don't know what
married and all that stuff.
No, obviously he came back.
Right.
But he still embarrassed her.
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. I just feel as though that I feel like Brie stepping in and honestly,
But Brie isn't innocent either.
Brie isn't innocent, but she was reminding Nikki.
Yeah.
Wait, what does that mean?
I know. Did she cheat on her? Like, is there something we don't know?
No, like if you notice that when Daniel and Brie started getting together, in past interviews, Brie would start changing her diet. All of a sudden she's
Yeah,
organic.
Nikki has brought that up.
All of a sudden she's
Okay.
a vegetarian now.
Yeah.
I think she's a vegan because of Brian, and she moved to Washington to Seattle for Brian,
Right.
for his family.
But weren't they married at that time when they moved?
Yeah, just like past year.
But that's different than being
But
scared.
before, when they were in WWE, Brie dated a rock star and did her rock star thing, did whatever he wanted. So this wasn't past interviews. Go search.
Well, yeah, Nikki talked about it.
Nikki did mention it.
Yeah.
So
Let me take out my phone.
I know, right?
I think for me, it's I don't want to say it's hypocritical, but it's more so, hey,
Well, I
you
don't
have to
know.
remember, you have to remind yourself you sacrificed stuff for Brian too.
But we can all say that Brie seemed like the fact that Brie didn't get like breast implants. She definitely seemed before Brian. She definitely seemed more on that pathway. Like for instance, like if me and somebody starts dating and that person didn't really work out all the time, but now they work out all the time, they might have worked out once or twice a week or maybe every other week, but now they work out all the time. You can't say, well, they're working out because of you. It's like, no, you're doing that, and they want to also do or have more of that lifestyle.
Right. That is actually what Brie was saying when Nikki brought it up, was that the fact because when Nikki had told her, she was like, well, you went vegan and you weren't this person before and now you don't really do Brie mode. And she was like, Brian introduced me to certain things that I actually like. So the fact when you get into a relationship, like, you know, most of the time you want to develop each other. If there's a part of their life that you're like interested in and you're like, oh my gosh, I like that. And you kind of change that in yourself.
No, I totally get
but
that.
fear of like shaking up your wedding, you're not even married yet.
It's way different.
Yeah, you're not even married yet.
And second of all, I don't even know what my first of all was, but okay. So, you know, Nikki's been begging him to marry her and to be in a relationship with her. And once she does all that work, she still has to keep working at it. Like, he wants to get married in his hometown, some weird, lame town that no one knows about unless you follow wrestling.
Newberry.
Like, it's
Well, all right.
like it's gross. Like, that's not acceptable. Like, he's not treating her the way he should going into a marriage.
That is true. I feel like she is sacrificing a lot for him. And even going into this marriage, and you know, they get into it in the episode, she really wants kids. That's a huge sacrifice. That's not changing your diet. That's like, I want a family. I don't want a family. So that's entering into a marriage on separate chapters. And you just, like, to have a good marriage, you're already sacrificing big things. Like, you know, you want your wedding here. That's already a huge sacrifice. You took all of this time to push him into marriage,
which is bad already, by the way.
And now all of a sudden he wants to do it his way.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Well, I mean, I think before the
No.
I think before the proposal, she had officially like given up. She like had hope maybe in the subconscious, but she hadn't, as far as I know. You can let me know if there's any interviews. She didn't, like, you know, ask him. She just officially said, okay, well, we're not going to get married and I'm okay with not having kids. So she said that before. So the fact now that he wants to get married, but the whole thing is she's been catering to him from the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah.
So, you know, for him to think any different, that's how they've been rolling. So that's not necessarily his fault. If you let the kid go and do whatever they want all the time, then they're just going to go and do whatever they want because they don't know any different. So she's been catering him this whole time.
Yeah.
So, like, say if your wife's like, look, we're going to have a baby, you know, when I'm 35, like normal people, you know.
Hold on.
I was like,
I know you felt that. I know you felt that. I know you felt that.
Normal folks, and she's just been catering to your craziness all this time. She's like, no, that was never. I was just letting you say this stupid stuff, but we're really gonna have a baby like next year.
no, that's bad.
That's her enabling you.
It is. It'll bite you eventually, just like it bit John Cena, and that's why they broke up. No, that's my point. You know, if my wife thinks I'm crazy, at some point it's gonna backfire on me. Like, you have to go at it together.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. She's enabling his attitude, and the fact that he doesn't appreciate her sacrifices, I think eventually.
Well, he doesn't appreciate them until she breaks up with him every time.
Exactly.
She wants to get married. She has to break up with him. Then she gets back in the house. Finally, he gets therapy and they get, you know, engaged. She wants to have a baby. She has to break up with him. Like,
he's like a dog.
I think they both need therapy before they
I thought they
actually
were
do
taking
this.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
When they got back together,
when they broke up
season
in
of
the
Total
yeah.
Total Divas. It was one of the seasons in Total Divas when they got back on that bridge at the beginning of this.
Right before, so I think that's when the family spoke to John, and then Nikki got upset at the family for speaking to him, and then they broke up, and then they got back together, and they had the thing. But it also leads to, speaking of the family and John and the house, we're expecting, because in Total Bellas, the season before, there was like rules, and Nikki prior to that had to sign like a 75-page contract before she moved into the house.
Yes,
so
now, it was 85 pages.
Oh, 85.
You forgot the index.
I know, right?
By the way, I want to add this. When this all came out, the media was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, I was on Ryan Seacrest, like, I've never heard of this before. And I'm just like, dude, if you watch Total Bellas, then
you would have known that a long time ago.
Get it together, man.
Are you talking about the separation? Or
no, the contract.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The media spread it like wildfire. Family members, did you know? I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, you're obviously, yes, I knew.
But we
watch the show.
But we're in for a surprise. So they're at the house. They're having their official dinner, which I kind of like, by the way. But,
It was nice.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm down.
I actually love the Downtown Abbey setting.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to get dressed up and actually enjoy each other.
I would have thought of a different name, though. You can't call yourself Downton and then not have any waiters.
Well, he does. She was pouring the drink.
So she's the waiter?
No, he had a lady. You didn't see her arm re-pouring Brian's water when he knocked it over?
Oh, that's on me then.
Yeah. You gotta watch the show.
So,
Oh, man.
we're expecting some rules, and your perfect timing. Brian spills some water. Everybody's like, oh my God, the rules. We're going to get kicked out.
The rules.
You don't get shipped off to another country. But turns out there's no rules.
Except for that you gotta throw the baby diapers outside.
Well, I mean,
That was weird.
baby.
No.
You smell baby diapers, right? Those
You don't
are
want that
not.
to
You don't
smell
want
in
it.
the
And
house.
if you have an option of putting it outside the house versus stinking up the house, that's probably what.
Well, I
you-
mean,
Yeah.
if somebody's over there, I feel like for you to have to go all the way outside to the left, to the trash can, that's a lot than just throwing it in there and taking out the trash when they leave.
Yeah, but it's your baby. Like, why do you carry your baby's you need to take your baby's dookie to the left. In the
I
kitchen.
Can you
can't.
put it in the room in the meantime? Like, you can also...
And then now your room is smelling like baby dookie.
You'll be fine.
They have plenty of rooms in their house that they don't have to
Exactly.
go in
One
there.
resident room.
One room is not
Gotcha.
going to change
The baby
that.
poop room.
So, how are you guys feeling about these no rules?
I don't
I just
believe
want to
them.
add that I really think that the producers or somebody told Brian, "Hey, spill it on him."
And that looked very
what
purposeful.
It
It
looked
did.
like.
Well, I did. I thought that same thing too. I actually rewound it because I was like, did he just pour it on him?
That's how they like.
It did.
Okay.
It did. And Brian is not the person to do that. He's not a good actor. So I just feel like
Yeah.
But he
You
is
know.
a savage. A good one.
that
I
wasn't.
agree with you.
That wasn't a
Wait,
good
wait,
call.
hold on. You gotta watch his promos, and then it will change your mind.
No, you guys, that was bad acting. Like,
That was
let's call it
bad
what it is.
acting.
Like, that was bad acting.
So-
He's like, oops, John.
And everybody was like, oh my gosh.
Or maybe he spilled it the first time and they didn't get it, and then he had to do it another time, which is
that
highly
could
possible.
be. Yeah, that could be.
And shout out to John for
possible.
sacrificing his $1,000 suit.
For water.
It's water.
I mean,
I
it's
know.
Dry
water.
cleaners, yeah.
No.
Well, here's my thing. This is something that I noticed though. You can let you guys let me know if you think the same thing. I found that after they did the whole rule things, John became very Rock-like, meaning that he was very personable. He wasn't as rigid. It felt like he was impersonating how The Rock interacts with other folks. Like when you see him with, kids and, just regular folks, his family. Like it was very. Did you see that?
I noticed that when he was so excited for this.
The
run.
carpet. It was a
the
carpet.
run.
Yeah.
It was very.
And I was like, why
It's
you
not-
lying?
Yeah.
Right, I was kind of nervous. I was like, when is he gonna be
gonna
back to
snap,
OCD?
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, when is he gonna snap? I think in my mind, what I said was, I think he has a brand clearly, and his brand is to be
The better version of Rock.
yeah,
Or the
basically.
white version of The Rock.
So when he did, I think when he did the last season, people were like, people are not liking you in this way, and so he had to kind of like back. But I still think he has. You're right. When is it going to come back? Like he still has OCD. I felt tense. I was like, when is it coming?
Yeah,
I
when
felt
the
like
cameras
Brie.
turn
It
off.
felt like he was going mad. Like, I don't know. I was annoyed by John Cena. I feel like I prefer Rock's hard personality, John Cena. If you had to live with that every day, John Cena thinks he's funny, and he's not funny.
He's not
I'm
at
sorry.
all.
Well, I mean, it's kind of that dry sense of humor. Like, I saw him on this TV show, Divas and Marrow. They're in New York. They're a really great show, by the way. But, the way he interacted with them was really great. But, again, it feels like there was just that one element that he just didn't have that he's, like, working on. Meaning that he's in front of the camera, and this is what he wants to appear to be. And when the cameras turn off, maybe he's a little bit more stoic. So, but it just felt like that part was like, wait a
Or
minute.
do you think him and The Rock had a conversation with The Rock?
And
I don't know why you
Or
guys
The
are comparing
Rock-
him to The
Or
Rock.
The Rock noticed, yo, man, you can't act like that. Da, 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 give him some tips.
I don't think
Okay,
so.
no, The
No.
Rock is natural. That's why The Rock is
Yeah.
special.
No, I know. I'm not saying
Very special.
that.
And fine.
Oh, wow.
Second that, amen.
I'll third it. It's cool.
No, No, but it's anything that you do. If you want to be the best at something, you're gonna look at people who are doing it well. You don't want to necessarily emulate them, but you're gonna take some certain things that just like, oh my gosh, okay, this can work. Like for instance, which is totally off thing, but when Richard Pryor first started, I watched a documentary about him. Richard Pryor first started as a comedian. He actually emulated his performances after Bill Cosby before he became who he is or who we know of him
now
to be of what I'm saying? So I feel like he's seeing The Rock do all these things, and The Rock has his production company. Not only are you seeing him in movies, he's producing stuff. He's doing stuff with CNN. Like he's doing a lot of different things, and people of all ages. So the fact that The Rock can swear in front of mothers with their kids in the room and everybody's still happy.
But there's
That's a
also
special type of person.
Okay, so The Rock is special, but he's also fine. Like John Cena is like, okay, he's not like, ooh, like I want some, but
no,
the thing,
I
back
That's what the
around,
argument was.
No.
I love The Rock, but I saw both of them in person, and I think you would change your mind if you saw Cena in person.
In person?
Yes.
He looks kind of old to me a little bit.
No,
but this is my
he
point.
does, but in person, when he's like, what is he, 6'4", 6'5"? When you see all that and the meat and the butt and like just the like is somebody gonna save you?
I know.
Like you would change your mind.
I think I really need a wrestler, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
The thing is,
Google Roman Reigns. You might change your mind.
okay.
No, you guys.
So my thing is like I really do. I like John as. This is funny. I like John as John. I don't think he should try this
agree.
whatever he's trying to do because it makes everybody else on edge. It made me on edge. I was like sitting at like, when is he going to just break? And I feel as though maybe his people told him, hey, you got to be a little bit more personable. But I like him. Like I like the stoic person that he was, the kind of not as much OCD, but I like that part of him because he was really like, there were certain things that Nikki would do, and he'd be like, no, I don't think so. And then he would really break it down to her like he was her dad, and I love stuff like that. I don't know why, I just do.
Yeah, but if somebody were doing that to, like, your family member, you'd be like, no. Or somebody did that to you, you're like, no, I'm a grown-ass woman. Like, what do you...
Well, they're weird.
Well, he doesn't stop her. He doesn't stop her from being the person that she is. There are just certain things that he doesn't want for himself that I feel that he expresses to her.
Right.
And she decides if she wants to deal with it or not. And he gives her that ability to decide. Now, that's okay. She decides to say yes to it.
Right.
I don't think... he would be like, oh my gosh, like she said no.
Right.
Like if she was like, no, that's not what I want, I'm walking away. He would fight maybe a little harder like he is now. But for the most part, I really like him as he is, not trying to be somebody else.
I think he struggles being something else. I feel like he struggles
Personable.
being personable.
That's what
and I feel like that's not him. Before he started in the WWE, he wrestled as a prototype in OVW, like a development facility. And they called him that because he was a regular prototype. Like, he had no personality. He was just himself, like just a big, jacked up dude. I feel like that's him. I don't think he knows how to act in front of people. He, like, lifted her by her butt in front of, like, her parents. It was weird. I don't...
Well, I mean, he slapped her, but he's done stuff like that before. But I don't know. It's one of those catch-22s because if you want to sell more movies and the people who are the gatekeepers for that and they're saying, well, we need you to be, this, and as far as the people who like you and stuff like that, then he might be changing that. So they might be giving him suggestions and he might be trying some stuff out, and this would be the platform to try it out, I suppose.
Or now the fact that he's starting to get a little bit more about Nikki Bella and her family, just a little bit more, he's now starting to get more comfortable with him.
That's
with
true.
them,
After
excuse
6
me,
years?
with them.
But
but come on, like seeing the family kind of almost every time they're filming within the past three seasons. Yeah, sure, it might take him a while, but from my eyes, I think he's now progressing to be more comfortable with her family. So by doing that with Nikki, being all lovey-dovey with her in front of the family, that he probably feels comfortable doing that because Nikki was always like that with John, and you could kind of see the little pushing away a little bit for having respect in front of her mother and all that fun stuff.
I guess so, but it just feels like, the fact that Nikki's so close with her family that she FaceTimes her sisters and like they're always in the vicinity. Like for him to take 6 years to do that, it is what it is. But Nikki, she, she's been holding Birdie B, Auntie Coco, all that stuff. Brie asks her if she's ready to be a mom, or she wants to be a mom, or does it make her feel like she wants to be a mom, and she wants to be a mom. So do you think this was the deciding factor? We're going to get into all the news and all that gossip after this, but do you think that was a deciding factor of her saying, this is not, like, I'm literally been a placemat for John, and this is not what I want to do for the next 30 years?
You know what I wonder?
What?
If that's part of the contract she signed. She can't have kids, or you can't poke holes in the condom, you can't birth control.
That is brutal, guys.
I'm just wondering because
Man.
if she was so smart and she desperately wanted to have kids,
did the okey
she
doke.
would have been really shady like that.
Well, it's not shady. It's just, oops.
Well, I don't know if she would have been shady.
It's like, I just forgot to take the pill 5 days in a row.
That's shady.
I mean, you can. She's a busy woman.
You could forget.
And what's the penalty for breaking that contract?
He won't be around.
But
But she got that baby.
I mean, if she signed
That child support.
Yeah, 18 years. But
Y'all don't do that.
She might.
That's raggedy.
She might have signed that too. I don't know. I hope that's not in the contract, because that seems kind of weird.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like,
I mean, it might be, but knowing him, it might be. But maybe he let the contract a little loose because he let the family in. He has no more rules.
it's now at 50.
Yeah.
It might be at 50 pages instead of like 85.
I mean, you're right. At this point, he lets people throw water at him. So, yeah.
So do you think that? Because I'm a firm believer at your personality is typically your personality from like the age of 5. Like, I honestly like I feel.
Wow.
No, really, like
That was deep.
There's certain things, there's certain core things about our personality that don't necessarily change.
Yeah, I
So-
feel like once you hit 20, there's certain things that you develop because you're getting out on your own, you're learning yourself. Once you hit like 20 some,
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about? You keep developing throughout life.
No, I'm not.
you
saying,
do.
I'm not saying
No.
you
But
don't
she's
develop.
saying you have core like values and
Right.
morals.
So, for instance,
Those
The Rock
could change.
No, this is what I'm talking. So, The Rock, for instance, he's pretty much been the same type of person. Like, he's personable. He gets along with a lot of different folks. That started at a certain time.
Like if you're an introvert or extrovert, that started at a certain time, and you most of the time.
His mama raised him, right?
Yeah.
But that's we don't know. We don't know the file. The thing is like if you're an introvert or extrovert, that is like a core part of you. Because
Right.
most extroverts are not going to change and become an introvert.
Yeah.
Where are you guys getting these facts from? What do you mean most?
Come on now.
You know why he doesn't know? Because he doesn't say hi to people at the office.
Oh
so he
my
just
God,
stays
okay,
to himself.
okay.
Exactly,
People
exactly.
change-
Roger, I can tell you are very introverted. No, it does not matter what anybody does. If you put you in a crowd of people,
What's happening?
You're
What's-
going to be the one who doesn't say the
Right,
most.
exactly.
But you are really cool, and so when somebody gets to know you,
It's like,
but
oh,
it
yeah.
takes that time to get to know you. That is your core personality.
I didn't
guys
know you
know-
liked wrestling until you showed up here and we work in the same office.
You guys know me more than I know myself.
Probably. You need to sit up and have you. So I think that was the thing that kind of led to the breakup, which leads us into the Total Bellas tea. I don't know if they have a drop, but we're going to have a drop next week.
Can we drink some
Oh,
tea?
we got a little. I know we need to get. Oh, I ain't got no cut.
We gotta have our own too.
I need some tea.
She had her tea up over there,
Is it warm?
all by herself.
So leading up to the Total Bellas season 3, episode 1, it was announced that Nikki and John broke up. Then he proceeded, like I said, start off the show. He put the thing on the boombox, the post on Instagram. Then he said
Supposedly dated Carmella.
Supposedly dated Carmella. He was on a night show. He said he wants to do anything to get back together with Nikki. Nikki's like, now it's reported that they're back together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact that this is all started right before the show happened is very suspect. Now, if it was because of the show, it didn't really help in the ratings because it actually dropped down, according to PW Insider.
Lowest premiere.
Yeah. So what do you guys? And then Nikki has, of course, this is what she has to do. She has pretty much said this is not a publicity stunt. We really love each other. We're just trying to figure things out. All this other stuff. So what are you guys feeling? You think it's really just they're trying to figure things out? You think it's because of the show?
I automatically thought it was a publicity stunt. Cause when they aired the trailer on Total Divas when we ended, they were like, "Are we really gonna do this?" And now all of a sudden, y'all are 3-4 weeks out from the wedding. The show is airing, and all of a sudden, you planned all of this wedding, and now you're not going to get married.
And then there's pictures of them together in San Diego.
Yeah,
You said
they're still
originally.
technically.
Do you still believe that?
When I saw she just did, her and Brie just did a People interview on the 17th. And she was just saying that when she said that she wanted to have kids and she felt like he didn't want to do that, and that was something that she really wanted in her life. And so she felt like she needed to take a step back to really understand be clear on what she wanted before she jumped into a marriage. I kind of felt that. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like it's going to correlate with the show because the show is meant to be a reality, right? So it's going to correlate. If you follow them through social media, she had a kind of a small bachelorette party, which doesn't feel very Nikki-ish. I feel like, again, he was controlling everything. And at some point, I think her family got to her.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like at some point she realized that it was wrong. And the reason I buy it, I've been following John Cena since he started like in 2003-ish. 2002. And he's been around that long, and I know nothing about him except that he cheated on his first wife. That's the only thing I know about him.
The wedding, or just him in general?
Him in general. He's a very private person.
But he's admitted he's cheated before.
But that's what I'm saying. The fact that he's been around this long. I mean, how many wrestlers do we follow and we know so much about them? He's been around so long, and now is when he decides to go out in public and beg for her. She obviously put him in this spot, and he's regretting it.
I could see that because he is very public about now wanting
It sounds like someone that truly regrets it. Again, he doesn't know how to act like a normal person, so he's like, I'm gonna go out into the public and just pronounce my love for her.
Right, because he had no other choice.
Exactly. He knows he's going to lose her.
She's giving him no other ultimatum.
Yeah, it's not like you can't find anybody else, though.
But come on now, who are you going to find that is fly and fine as Nikki and on their business? Like career-oriented.
I'm just kidding.
Career-oriented as much as Nikki.
He had it good.
No.
He had it good.
Yeah,
he had it good, but I mean, yes, Nikki's amazing, but he could find somebody else.
So could she. But
so could she. But it just feels that this is the whole thing before you really interrupted my theory.
Glad you're over
there. Oh my God.
People start at the age of 5. There's certain things that kind of happen as far as their personalities, because we know you probably were just playing by yourself when you were 5, like you're still doing that now.
What?
But I feel like
that sounded inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I feel like there's certain things that happen in some people's lives that make them become self-aware to some of the things that they were doing that they had no idea that they were doing. So maybe this, where it's like, oh my gosh, we got to this point, literally 2 weeks or a month before the wedding, she says no, and she's like, I can't do this at all. And it feels very real, like she's moving on, because it's not even like she was moping. She was on the red carpet. She was doing other things.
Yeah.
She was going on with her life. And maybe it kind of made him realize, like, oh, this is I've seen the errors of my ways, and I'm willing to work on that. And maybe maybe looking at the reasons why he doesn't want to have kids, opposed to just saying I don't want to have kids.
Right.
Cena.
Well, he did an interview as to why he didn't want to have kids.
So what did the interview say? You just dropped us like.
I know. I didn't get to the part about reading it, but
he did it.
I'll have that information for y'all next week. Yes, he did an interview explaining why he didn't want to have kids.
That's a shady move, TK.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
Okay. I mean, if Anissa doesn't know, then I mean.
I'm waiting.
No, he did explain it. You guys have to pull up the article.
He's really good with kids.
He is.
It's easy to be good with kids when they're not yours. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got you. I feel like John Cena's gonna look terrible this season. Like he's.
The article is up.
Wow.
So
John Cena has been saying he doesn't want any kids since
Forever.
they did the 5 questions of John Cena back
Since
in
he was 5,
2005.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but they did like this little fun 5 things asked John Cena on WWE.com back in the day. Probably half of you guys aren't even born. But back in the day when MySpace was around and he would ask questions, fans would ask him, hey, do you want any kids? He said out, no, I don't have any desire to have kids.
Well, he's always said that.
And
I think I found the source actually.
Okay, Jeff.
This is Jeff from the booth. And guys, just so you know, this interview is coming from People. There's some other stuff. But according to a source, the professional wrestler is almost singularly focused on his goal of becoming a mega famous performer, entertainer, and actor.
Makes sense.
It's not fair to bring a kid into the world if they're not prepared to be focused on them, and he's just not. not. He doesn't want to be an absentee parent, and he doesn't see how he wouldn't be giving everything he wants to do in his career and his life. To contemplate bringing a child into this world who could get hurt or sick, it would be more than he could take. Interesting. So that's on People, guys.
Wow,
Okay.
thank you.
Joe.
No problem.
Which
I told y'all I saw it. I just did not open it to read it, which
Came in
makes
clutch.
sense. Which, if you look at Brie and what she's dealing with, she's not going to be able to. I mean, they're both, if they're going to continue with what they're doing right now, they're both going to be times where they won't be able to do that. But that's not
career.
That's everybody's. That's every parent's
Exactly.
life.
Yeah, but he does have. Let me tell you this. He does have what he says makes sense because Oprah says the same thing.
Okay, John Cena's not Oprah, and John Cena's gonna have to suck it up.
But he said he wants to be a mega superstar.
Right, you're still not Oprah.
Right.
Like
He is.
John's.
No.
No, he's not there yet.
No,
He's getting there, but he's not there yet.
No.
He's not even The Rock, so he's definitely not Oprah.
Hashtag epic fail.
I feel like John Cena's gonna have to suck it up. Yeah, you believe all this, but then you got into a relationship with someone else that you
love.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to take back some of that and learn how to adapt to a
But she
relationship.
said it. She said that she's at home majority of the time by herself.
30
And
days.
she's obviously okay with having a baby in that condition. So he's gonna have to reconsider some of his thoughts.
Well, I mean, it's almost like she was okay with having the dog. Winston or whatever the dog
Yeah.
was. So I mean, in theory, she definitely wants the kid.
Yeah.
But in theory, she thinks she wants it with John. But now you have the kid, and John is gone doing these big movies. And now you're alone with the kid and the
And
nanny.
then she's gonna start complaining a little bit more.
Right. So
right. That's true.
No, it's not shade or it's like for real. Like,
Yeah.
But that's my thing. She's not complaining. Like, that's what she wants in a family.
Right.
Like, she's getting older. She wants to establish a family. She wants a baby. I feel like, yeah, that might happen. But then what's the alternative? You guys never see each other anyways? Like, she wants to create something with
TK
him.
is making a great point. It's like she's going to, listen.
Wow.
She's going to have this baby and be at home, and now she's going to be like, well, why can't you be at home more?
You guys are
And now
assuming,
that's
like-
going. No, Nikki is she's not predictable, but she has that family orientation. And so I feel like if she sees, like she sees all of the
Brian
siblings,
home and they're making it work, and the fact that he can't make it work because he's doing all this stuff, it's just like, okay,
it's going to come in another problem.
That's where maybe if he's good friends with The Rock, maybe they can explain, because we don't really know what. I think his wife is a producer, but The Rock has his whole family. For you guys who don't know, his ex-wife is
his manager.
Is his manager, the head of his company, $7. She was actually the producer of the last movie that they did. Her brother, the ex-wife's brother, is also one of the producers, executive producers, and his daughters. Like, so he has the whole family involved in his projects. So I don't know how he makes the two smaller daughters work. It's 2 daughters, right? The 2 girls.
Yeah, he got.
Now there's 3.
Well, he gets the oldest one, but she
There's
can take care of
3.
herself. But the 2 younger ones, I don't know how he makes it work as far as there. But maybe that's a person you might want to talk to, because he's a bigger star than John Cena, and he just popped out 2 additional kids in the last.
Yeah,
3
and
years.
he's obviously doing well. So, honestly, The Rock doesn't have time for John Cena.
All right, well,
The shade.
just so you guys know,
That's one of our segments. The shade.
Something that you should have time for is definitely go on iTunes, all that good stuff. Put 5 stars. If it's less than 5 stars, don't even bother. Leave all your comments on iTunes, YouTube, all that good stuff. We definitely read all your comments. Shout out to all the folks on live chat. We love you guys, because there's some shows that don't get no love, so we definitely love you guys for sure.
Yes.
So predictions.
Dum, 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 dum.
Oh, I just read something. Sorry. No, go ahead. Predictions.
No, go ahead.
No, I think you got it now.
Right.
Woo, I can talk. Okay, so now I just read right when we walked in that they did announce their little party or whatever, that engagement party for next week. Brie pretty much. I'm assuming this probably showed up on the next preview about them having their JJ and Lauren are having their second child.
Yeah.
I just want to ask real quick, how do you guys feel about that? Having your own wedding party and then your brother and your sister-in-law are taking up the whole thing.
Did they take it up the whole thing, or they just said we're having another kid?
I think they just announced it.
Well, Brie
This is all a celebration.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was cool. I think Nikki walked away just because she wants to have a kid, and everybody's having kids and having their family.
Yeah, I think that's more the case.
Yeah.
It's more the kid thing.
So are we predicting more babies this season?
Well, I mean,
Clearly, it's baby on
that's not a
board.
prediction. That's just what's gonna happen.
Right, fact.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, let's hope.
Whoa.
I'm just saying.
So let's hit those predictions real quick.
Yeah, hit the predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Why is everybody looking at me?
It's on you. You're the first one. It goes in order.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what do I predict? I mean, it's hard to predict anything because
Okay.
we've seen
Yeah. It's like a little trigger happy back there.
Oh my God.
My bad.
right.
It's the cue to wrap it up.
Wrap it on up.
No. You guys got time. That was all me.
No, I don't know what to really predict because I feel like we kind of saw them break up, and you know, she is telling, as we see in the preview, she is telling him they have the baby that they announced during the engagement party. She's telling him that she feels suffocated. So I would like to see that part of her basically saying like why she's feeling suffocated, why she needs to like have her space.
That's good.
I hope we get to see more of Daniel Bryan's. I know it's about the Bella twins, but I want to see more of Daniel Bryan's story on how he was able to get back into the ring.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see all of it this season or half of it, then Total Divas, then talks about the rest of it, maybe.
Was the last one on Brie having her baby?
Yeah, and then this one's
So I
about-
think this one's. I don't think we're gonna see Brian too much.
I hope we do.
I just think how they narrate it, and it seems like they gravitate towards one sister and then the other, and
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true. That is true.
He'll have his time. Well, sorry. I just think it's going to be a terrible season for John Cena. He's going to look like a terrible person.
Oh.
He's going to just have an awful time. His publicity image is going to go down the drain. And I hope Nikki leaves him.
Wow.
Because Nikki could do so much better.
if this was scripted, like meaning that if it was like a TV show versus reality TV, then technically the scope of it's gonna make him look horrible. He's gonna have like something that changes his life. He's gonna do something like beyond redeeming. They're gonna fall back in love and they're gonna have an epic wedding, like either right before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania.
Okay, I like
with
this.
the
I
wedding
like this.
edition,
Hey,
with the
yeah.
wedding
And then
special.
the epic wedding would
Yeah.
end with, "Oh my God, I'm pregnant." If this was scripted,
This sounds
and written,
amazing. I love this. I love this.
Scripted and written, because the thing we have to acknowledge is that the fact that they broke up, this half the season, I'm assuming everything's in the can, but half the season is already filmed. So you know, the fact that it's not as bad as the Kardashians, but you know, there's some overlap with real life and all this good stuff. Joseph on the chat, so shout out to Joseph. He said they're filming Total Divas right now.
Yep.
There was a rumor I read that he cheated on Nikki with allegedly Carmilla, who was booted from Total Divas season 8 because of all that. So, I mean, and I think the Bella twins are actually one of the producers for Total Divas too. So, if that's true, then I don't know why Carmella's on WWE, because Cena has a little bit of pull with that too. But you know, it is what it is.
Risky
Hey,
move.
Carmella's great. I love her.
I know, but if she slept with John Cena and Nikki doesn't like that, and John wants to be with Nikki, and John and Vince are actually really great friends, then Carmella,
Hey,
she
yeah,
made that,
you-
she
You'd be
made that bad.
surprised how. Come on, you'd be surprised how many wrestlers sleep with each other.
No, but
I'm not,
what?
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying John has a lot of pull with Vince. Like that's a fact.
But you
So-
can't be two-timing and trifling with the main guy of the company. Like,
Yeah, like, I don't
that's
know.
a dumb move on her part if it's true.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
saying, like she's
I don't know.
good.
I really don't believe that. Little
I don't
story.
believe it. If she's good, I mean, she has the belt now. But if that's true, then like the ultimate sacrifice is get her ass out of WWE, even though
Yeah.
she's not there. So I don't know. I hope not. Hope you didn't do it, Carmella. Hope you get to stay your job. Hope you retain your belt. We'll see. But I don't know. I hope it's not scripted. As far as that whole thing prior to when the show came on, it feels like that. I don't know. I just feel like if he has a aha moment, according to Oprah, and he sees that and they want to have kids and he genuinely feels that way versus I want to do this because she wants it. If both people are kind of doing things because they feel like they have to versus they want to in love, then it's not going to end well. You know, you'll be married for 5 years and then I want my gift back, you know.
Right.
You know what I'm surprised though? He probably hasn't gotten a vasectomy.
He might have, because you can reverse it. Also, too, a little bit of news.
Wow.
Wow, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. But another story was reported that Nikki kept the ring. She tried to give it back to John. John didn't want it, and then she also kept the dress, which that you can return. So, and the fact that after everything,
It depends.
Yeah, you can't always return that.
Yeah, you can't always return it.
Well, the fact that people in another like kind of people-ish magazine was every day they had a story on them made me very like icky. Like
Till this day, it's every story.
Yeah, every day there's a story, and I'm like, well, who's leaking this?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like that's what kind of makes it feel a little like scripted,
Right.
and I also think that's what kind of maybe killed the premiere ratings too. Like they shouldn't have.
It was too much.
They announced them getting back together in a way too soon.
Well, I think when they announced them getting back together, that didn't pick up by all the news sources.
ratings.
It's just more of like a wrestling
No,
reports.
TMZ, you guys.
But I feel like I still don't feel like it was scripted. I feel like this really happened, guys.
But I feel like they shouldn't have announced it, or they shouldn't announce that they got back together until you're a little bit into the season, because you have a show. Like you want to keep the ratings.
You can't control life.
Well,
You can't, but you can control
this is
media.
not this is not the Kardashians. Like the Kardashians, when they had, I think the season before that, the whole Paris thing. When the Kardashians came out, that whole Paris thing was 6 months.
Yeah,
strong.
right.
The Kardashians can do something like that.
Right.
We're not the folks who are just kind of okay, like fans. They watch it once in a while. They're not invested as much.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
We'll see what happens. Well, we're gonna still be watching.
We are.
We're
supposed to.
because we have to, kind of.
Hold on, because I want to.
Because we have to. But where can they find you, stylist to the stars?
Hey everybody, I'm Monique Loveless, and you can find me on all platforms at Miss Mo Loveless. Also, make sure you visit my website at MoniqueLoveless.com so that you can get all your styling tips and tricks and all the good stuff. And also, every Thursday, I have the show Life Sentence at 7 p.m.
I'm Anissa Barr. You can follow me on social media at Anissa Barr. I'm hoping to do America's Got Talent here on AfterBuzz because I'm very savage on that show. So, and it's amazing. Also, Bar Wrestling is coming up next month. It's their 1-year anniversary. 30 people are going to be wrestling. So many people, especially my friend Joey Ryan. He'll be there. So yeah, follow me on social media at Anissa Barr.
Good shirt. Good
Yeah.
shirt. Just Roger on Instagram, Beef Supreme. Type it in. You'll find me.
I mean, will you respond though?
You'll find me.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He didn't even respond to the email about the show today until 10 minutes before
Exactly.
the show.
No, I DM'd him like, "Are you?" Because you didn't respond to the email. Are you? It was seen, but didn't respond.
you know
I
why?
had to follow up.
What have I
You know
signed
why?
up for?
I have to go
What
up to
happened?
his desk and say, "Hey, what's happening?" I meant to send an email. Like,
my
dude,
God.
what do you? What's,
Yeah.
what's-
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, apparently Roger and I both work together, but not really. Not like when we're. It feels like one of those affairs, like we mess around at night and just
Oh my God.
But anyways, you can find both of us at TMZ, but more me, not him. It just depends. He might be in the corner. But you can follow me at everything at TK Trinidad. One of the guests that's going to be at Bar Wrestling, we actually had her on the show, Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly, Chelsea Green. She was amazing. She's actually going to be coming to the show when she comes to Bar Wrestling.
Oh, I know
all
that.
that and more. We're going to catch you guys next week. Definitely hit us up on all the, Instagram. Well, more the three of us. Roger, he might not respond. So definitely
here.
hit us up on all that social media. Let us know what you think. We're going to see you next week. Ciao.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.